new construction or resale? Those are really big questions that a lot of buyers are asking today. Many families I work with, especially here in Fort Bend County and Katy, are wondering, do I buy a home that's ready to go with upgrades, it's already set up, maybe has a pool, or do I just buy new where there's a lot of incentives? So let's talk through those today. Right now, timeline and process. Okay, so a new build. You can buy an inventory ready home and those are ready to sell usually as quickly as you can get financing in place, or the title company can clear it. If you are looking to pick your lot and design it from ground up or pick your flooring and your finishes, that can be anywhere from 6 to 12 months depending on where the community is and where the builder is. And so that's always a little bit further out. In a resale, you're looking at cash deals can close as quickly as 2 weeks. That's about how long it takes title to get their work together. And then if you're financing, 30 days is about the quickest it can go, usually 30 to 45 days. Some go longer depending on the type of loan that you're getting, but that's usually what you're looking at from once you walk into contract until closing. Also, again, on new construction, you have a lot of flexibility on what you put in, depending on how early in the process you get in, from your finishes to flex rooms to the extra garage, etc. And on a resale, what you get is what you get. Although you can negotiate furniture and maybe the refrigerator on the resale, but pretty much it is where it's at. Let's talk about cost and negotiation. So builders are offering a lot of incentives right now. You're going to see rate buy downs, especially now in 2026 where interest rates are high. Some of them are offering it as low as 3.99 on FHAs or adjustable, or some conventionals depending on where they're at. But you're going to get some really good buy down and interest rates from the new builds right now because they're trying to move inventory, right? The other thing to think about on new builds is you might get a really good deal up front, especially if you're getting early and living through that. But they have these things called mud taxes here that and they're going to go up because they're establishing all these new communities. The tax rate tends to creep up, and that's something that a lot of people don't like. But here's something also to consider, that price in taxes. On a higher priced home, you're going to get that back, right? Homes appreciate at about 4% on average every year, right? Long term. Taxes you never get back. That's money you never get back. So just something to consider in there. Also, when it comes to price negotiations, new builds might throw incentives at you, but you don't really have a lot of comps to compare to. So you're kind of stuck with what they get and what they're offering, unless you have a really good realtor. Then we can talk about that. But on the resale side, for cost and negotiation, the sellers and the buyers really negotiate everything on price. And so there's a lot more flexibility just depending on, who's willing to go where. And your tax rates are usually established. So there should be no surprises. You should know that what the tax rate is, that's what it's going to be. And the other really good thing about resale, unless you live in something that's very unique, you should be able to find a lot of comps. So you should be able to get some really good information on what your house is worth compared to other homes in the area, because there should have been more homes that have sold, so you can really, really comp it out. So that's on the cost and negotiation. All right, neighborhood and lifestyle. And this is probably one of the most important factors, because what I have found with a lot of clients that I work with, especially here in Fort Bend County and in Katy, is that they can overlook certain costs and they're willing to do with this, but lifestyle and neighborhood is something that you can't really ever change, and that's going to make it your happy place, right? So let's talk about new builds. Many new communities right now have just amazing amenities. I'm talking resort style pools, you've got water parks, pickleball courts, little cabanas, indoor and outdoor rec centers, and trails and playgrounds, and those are awesome. Now remember, they do come with a fee. So let's think about HOA fees back in our cost. That usually all those really big amenities do come with a fee, but they're great and you have them year round for that. And so think about also in a new construction community, especially if you're really early on, you get to choose your lot, you're going to have a lot of trucks and things coming up and new builds, and you don't know who's going to move in. You're going to have to drive through construction. And so depending on where the community is in that process, you're going to be living with that. So something to consider. And you're not sure, like we talked about, who's going to move in next door, right? You just don't know. I've talked to some friends who bought in a new community and they loved it. And over the years, got filled with people that didn't really fit their lifestyle. Versus, let's talk resale. So what you're going to see in resale is traditionally, especially if it's established neighborhood, mature trees. Probably one of my favorite things. My really good friends used to live in an old Sugar Land area, and every time we go there, my daughter was little, she says, Mom, our friends live under the trees. And so it's really pretty just driving up to that. Although I say, like, you should love your neighborhood. Like, your house should make you happy from the moment you start driving into your neighborhood, right? Your home should be your sanctuary. I say this all the time, like, you don't get your money back on vacation, but yet you go, right? Because it makes you happy and you understand the importance of loving where you are at and just being able to relax and be. And so you spend every single day in your home, right? Minus when you're gone for vacation or travel. So why wouldn't you just pick somewhere that makes you happy from the moment you're driving in, right? And so driving through beautiful trees, mature trees, even in the front yards, you'll see, depending on the age of the neighborhood, established landscaping, beautiful mature trees, and really just established character. And I think that's what I hear a lot about resale versus the homes and the neighborhoods. It's that it's established character. So you kind of already know what the neighborhood's going to be like. And we talked about that with the people. You'll get a feel of who your neighbors are. So I tell clients all the time, when you're shopping a resale community, go drive it at night. Go drive it on the weekends. Drive it at different times. And so you'll really get a feel for who's there, what it's like. Sometimes you might go during the day at 12 o'clock and it looks great. And then you go at night and the streets are flooded with cars. There's a bunch of cars everywhere. And so that matters. Know what it's like at all times of the day. So again, your home can be your sanctuary, starting with your neighborhood. So known quality, again, depending on who the builder is, they usually have a reputation over time. You can kind of know, what other problems did homes in the neighborhood have or not have, flood history. Like, you know more of what you're getting into in a resale because there's data, not just on that house, but on the neighborhood, right? So there's a lot more knowns as far as that goes. Now, there might be some unknowns on things that weren't repaired right, if it was an older home or people just repaired something and you don't know. So there's some unknowns on, quality that could be there. Of course, if you get a good inspector, hopefully you'll overlook most, he or she will find most of it. But when it comes to just the neighborhood and the lifestyle, you should traditionally know what you're looking for, especially have a good agent who really knows the area and talks to the neighbors and gets a feel and just is an expert, a local expert, like I am here in Fort Bend County and Katy and Houston area. So schools. Okay, guys, probably the number one thing I hear about. I've been in so many open houses lately, like 3 to 4 per weekend, and everyone wants a good school. Now, I get it with all the zoning in Lamar ISD and Fort Bend ISD, even with resale right now, you're not sure. But new communities, a lot of them are putting up their own schools. I know like Brookwater just opened and they have their own elementary school opening in the fall. So a lot of them are putting in their own schools. I know Austin Point, as it is opening up, I mean, it's going to have its own everything, right? But there's just a lot of shifts going around. So if you do your research, if you have an agent that can help you to do the research on, hey, where are the school zones not going to be shifting in an established community, you usually know what you're getting into when it comes into the schools. I can tell you Riverstone and Katy are hot for schools. Everyone wants to go there right now that I talk to. And so just you know what you're getting into right in there. And so you've got Clemens High School and Elkins and all these high schools that people are coming into. So you kind of know what you're getting into for schools, restaurants, and personality on resale. So, question, which one is better for you? Well, I recommend that you sit down with whoever else is making this decision, if it's your spouse and your kids and your family, and write out the pros and cons of all of these. But the most important thing is to find out, hey, what do you want? And you find out what you want by, hey, what is your lifestyle like? What is your dream like? And this is where I come in. My name is Roberta Meggs, and I am your Fort Bend, Katy, Houston family realtor. And what I like to do with people when they say, hey, Roberta, I want to buy a home. I don't even know where to start. Or maybe I know where to start, but I need an expert guidance. We sit down and talk about what are your wants, what are your must-haves, and what are your wishes. We talk about timeline, budget, process, etc. And then we build out a plan, and then we can look at new build or resell and decide which one is best. So if you are looking for a local Houston area realtor, give me a call. Again, my name is Roberta Meggs, and I love working with families, and I love helping you find a place where you live because your home should be your sanctuary. And someday is the most expensive day in real estate, so don't wait.